I'm Ebong.
I'm Sonya.
And I'm Kate.
And today we're dishing with you from Public Bar located at 1214 18th Street Northwest.
And today we are celebrating our first anniversary with some live taped episodes. We have a great crowd here in Public. Sorry you weren't able to join us, but make sure you join us.
Maybe they were joining us. Maybe they're watching us on tape delay.
Maybe they're watching on tape delay. You can hear the questions that you asked of Sophie Pyle. Sophie is joining us. She's a star. She's a star of the first DC reality TV show called Blonde Charity Mafia. But you probably haven't seen here in the States because it wasn't released in the States.
Which is one of our first questions actually from our folks here at our first anniversary party. BCM wants to know, why are we not seeing this in the States? We have to be on vacation in the UK to watch the show. So what happened?
Well, we were originally going to be on Lifetime, and then we were sold from Lifetime to the CW. And the CW held on to us for a year, figuring out when a good time slot was going to be. We were supposed to air in summer 2008, and then I think the CW just had other shows that they were a little more interested in airing, so they picked those over us. And there's still a chance we could air here, we just don't know.
There's all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I'm happy we're airing somewhere. So.
Well, after all of that work, you want to see it come out. You want to see all that footage. Well, speaking of the footage, so we've kind of gotten a glimpse of some of the footage, and I gotta say, it's not real, is it?
Yeah, well, that's what before we started taping, I said that I wanted to talk to you like you guys talk in the show. So, yeah, is it real? Is it scripted? What's the deal?
Sophie, is it true that you slept with that boy the other day?
With John Pye?
I'm kidding. Yes. So they mentioned on the show that I'm sorry, you're a bit of a slut, but she's not a slut in real life. I know this because I know
she's really sassy today.
I have a lot of fun.
She has
all right.
She has a lot of fun.
That's
so
good.
maybe it's real a little bit or a lot.
Well, why is it scripted?
John Pye is a good guy, but I don't kiss and tell.
Okay.
Good. Okay. All right. Is it scripted though? Is all this sort of scenario?
I know. I'm blushing so bad right now.
This is real. Is it real situations and real dialogue, or what is it like?
You know, the month that they filmed, there were a lot of events going on. Certainly, LNS is a big part of the Georgetown social scene and the things we do, and there's good and bad with that. My friends are really my friends. There really is tension among me, Catherine, and Krista, and
so when you decided to sign on for this, did they tell you it was going to be called Blonde Charity Mafia? And did you know that you were obviously going to be the outsider because, hello?
No, I had an idea that I was, when they did cast me, I said, well, that's interesting. None of my really close friends are principal characters. Maybe I could bring some on, and I could. And I learned about 3 weeks into filming they were going to call it Blonde Charity Mafia, and I was pretty much horrified. But it does have a good ring to it, so.
Well, on the show, the point of the show.
They may not be real blondes either, so.
That's true.
Team Brunette, right?
Team Brunette. It's to showcase that in Georgetown there is a very social set that does throw parties for charity, and that's true. That is definitely something that happens, and probably the best idea of a reality show in DC because it is reality here. But I think we have a viewer that wants to know.
Actually, it goes into my first question from the viewer, who wants to know, how do you choose the charities to support?
There were so many charities we wanted to include on the show. I think it was pretty much just the timing of the events that were going on. We did Fashion Fights Poverty, the runway show, which looked beautiful on camera. I really hope we can see episode 6, I believe. And you know, there's a Drop in the Bucket benefit. It really did depend on what was going on and what our friends are throwing, which ones we want to include on the show. But really, there's so many charities in Washington that have such good causes behind them. It's not so much that we would ever reject one for the show.
So I'm going to ask you now, to interrupt, I'm going to ask you, so what charity, you said right now you have so many charities that you could be involved with, so is there one particular one that you're drawn to more than others?
I've always been really in touch with green causes and events. I was really into the Charity Works greenhouse that opened in last year. Yeah. in McLean, and that was a huge success for all these designers, and they made the house carbon neutral, and that was really, really cool. I don't have a car. I try to minimize my carbon footprint as best I can, and that's not so much charity, but just something I've always believed in.
So, okay, since you don't have a car, and we watched the first episode, and you guys are wearing really, really, really tall heels all over Georgetown with the cobblestones. Do people in DC really wear these heels around, or did you guys dress up a little bit for the cameras? Because, I mean, you'd have to get your shoes reheeled a lot.
Yeah, we definitely, I mean, if you're going to be on camera, you want to look nice.
True.
No sweats. Tennis shoes.
Well, that's not real.
Nightmare.
Because we know we're all wearing that.
Yeah, even everybody wears this all the time.
Well, since the show, you've developed a name for yourself. Everyone knows you're on this show.
Thank you.
And now, everybody knows you're starlet Sophie Pyle. So what is starlet Sophie Pyle doing now?
Actually, nothing very star related. I'm doing social media consulting for companies. I have my website, sophiepyle.com, and I like to work with small businesses to take them from marketing in magazines and such to the internet. So there's like Twitter, Facebook, connecting them with bloggers, connecting them with even traditional media if they don't know how to do it. So that's what I do right now. I made so many great contacts through the show. District Dish is a great one too.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people probably want to get on reality shows, have their own shows. So you mentioned casting when you were cast for the show. How did that casting process go, or did they come to you and say, "We want you on the show"? You got a great look about you.
Oh, well, they had an idea of who they wanted, just because late night shots they do talk about the same, however many people all the time. And they interviewed us. There was an audition process, and they just decided they liked that I was a DC native. They liked, I guess, the blondes versus brunettes thing, which firsthand.
It's a natural
rival game. Yeah. And they thought it was just a good angle, and they trust me for it.
So were you and Krista and Catherine already friendly or friends before this, or?
I knew of Catherine, and Krista I had bumped into a lot going out, and vice versa. So, yeah, we knew of
Did you enjoy the experience?
Yes.
Do you like having cameras follow you around? What was that like?
Yeah, they only followed us around for a month. It was a lot of fun.
It was only a month.
Yeah,
well, that's a lot of
people. I didn't get in February, so yeah.
Well, it's also nice to see, especially this time of year, to see fashionable clothes and being out in Washington and the parties. Like, I'm just so ready for it. So it gets me in the mood.
It was a fun experience, and it's a letdown that it's not airing here right now. But we did our part. We did our best, and we did our best to promote it and let people know about it. And I'm so glad that you can see episode 1. And I hope you'll be able to see more.
I keep trying to watch episodes. I went online. I couldn't because I couldn't get them.
What do you want people to take away from you on? I mean, whether it's the real you or the Sophie that you're being on Blonde Charity Mafia. What do you want people to think of you on the show?
Well, when they were filming, I was just being myself, and then they cut it however they wanted. So I think if they had cut it differently, maybe Catherine would have come out a little differently than she did, or Krista would have. But I was just myself. My friends and I had a great time.
So would you do it again?
Would I?
Season 2.
I don't know. I would probably ask them to be a little nicer to me. Season 2.
Well, we thank you for coming on and joining us.
So much for having me.
We learned a lot about reality shows. All of maybe a little bit of cattiness really does go on in Georgetown.
It happens behind the scenes here too.
Oh no!
No, not really.
No, not really.
It does.
As always, thank you for joining us here on this episode of The District Dish. Sophie can tell you a lot about social marketing, but you can also follow us on Twitter at The District Dish and become our fan